So, the translations are out for My Hero Academia Manga chapter 351, and let's just say that from what we see in this chapter, it may be the end of the fight between Shoto and Dabi. Like, I am not kidding, this may actually be the conclusion of the fight, and you'll see why, but first, right after this. Hey guys, how's it going? It is your boy Manga Drew, and I'm here to do my review of My Hero Academia Manga Chapter 351, titled Twin Flashing Flames. And when it comes to those twin flashing flames, it's obviously referring to Endeavor and Hawks. Yeah, one of them has the ability to shoot out fire, the other one can technically set their wings on fire if he has a lighter on him, but no. But in reality, what the twin flashing flames are the flames of both Dabi as well as Shoto. And from what we see in this fight, those flames begin to clash and supposedly one of them goes out. And pretty much what happens in this chapter is nothing but a fight. Balls to the wall, fire against fire, brother against brother, with nothing being held back. It is a battle of two people going full throttle, burning with the passion and ambition that fuels them. So enough with the fire puns, let's get right into the review, starting off with exposition. So the first page of this entire chapter is just an explanation for how Flash Fire Fist works, which is very cool. We're getting a more detailed understanding of how the ability works and potentially hinting at the fact that there was a hero's guide that contains this information inside of it. And pretty much what Flash Fire Fist is the accumulation and the condensing of the fire within a person's body and then being able to release it in a strong, incredible burst. And it is also explained that when Flash Fire Fist was created, it was created by Endeavor at a very young age, but by it being done at that young age and being created, it is actually a technique that Endeavor created that was pretty much the limit of his own potential, which, as we know, the moment he realized his own potential was reached was most likely what led him down the path to pursue All Might, which, as we see in this part of the chapter, is what set the future in motion for these individuals, as we see both Dabi as well as Shoto appear at the end of the explanation. Which shows that the reasonings why both Toya, aka Dabi, and Shoto are who they are is just from what Endeavor was at his youth and how his potential and the limits of it shaped him into the person that would end up giving birth and raising Shoto and abandoning and neglecting Dabi. So as we skip from the dialogue, we go more into dialogue between Dabi explaining how he's glad that Shoto listened to his rant and now he's fired up and how he's pretty much gonna set himself on fire and pursue the dream that he's been thinking about for years, killing his own brother, as he also reflects about how he got to this point, how he went through this ability of ramping up the heat because that's all that he knew, and that the words inside of him that was spoken by his father was what gives him movement, which pushed him forward. He had no limitations, no ability to feel pain, so he focused all of his ability and all of his attacks on just full powered outburst of his fire, which we see he's about to use as he's asking Shoto if he's a fan of All Might, as he's about to use Flash Fire Fist. But it's not just his Flash Fire Fist, it's a combination of Flash Fire Fist and Hell Spider, as we get a page that shows how intense that Hell Spider is, very similar to Endeavor's Hell Spider, but the difference is that it's more powerful, and that as we see Ida reacting to this Hell Spider as the other heroes are being hit and thrown back, he comes to a conclusion that, yeah, it's really pretty much like Endeavor, but it's done crudely and it's poorly contained, as he's thinking about it's an attack that hit his friend, that it hit Shoto. But luckily enough, we get to see Kido, Onima, and Burnin redirecting and controlling the Hell Spider away from Shoto, as Shoto is also powering up his own Flash Fire Fist. But unfortunately, that was nothing but a front, a distraction, as we see that Dabi appears right behind Shoto and hits him with a powerful fire blast as he talking smack to Shoto. He's like, by the way, Shoto, there's something that I wanted to tell you. How on earth did you have the patience to deal with the civilians, as he slams Shoto with a fire punch that slams Shoto into the ground. And pretty much from here, you just have Dabi just chastising Shoto, saying that how he's a worthless mix of fire and ice, and how he should be ashamed for all that he has done, as we have Burnin commenting on the fact that his fire is even more intense than Endeavor at this temperature. And you just have Dabi just going in on Shoto, saying that, oh, you cling to others, you had the perfect training, the perfect body, the perfect environment, which is very interesting that he's saying this, because it's kind of like the opposite of what he has, that he didn't have the perfect body, he didn't have the perfect training, and how he's chastising his brother again and again, how he was born with everything, and how he can't even act like a puppet correctly, and that he'll never be a hero, as he uses Jet Bird and sends Shoto flying into another building. And this shows that, yeah, Dabi has some pent-up aggression against his own younger brother, which makes sense since, you know, he attempted to murder him at a very young age. But what's even more interesting, that after that attack is Shoto's response. Because he doesn't say that, oh no, you're wrong, it's not like that, it's completely different. No, he just says, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're not completely wrong about that. He's like, yeah, I'm a loser. Yeah, for the longest time, like, I couldn't find my way. And, like, I thought of myself as nothing. As you just have Dabi thinking, he just nullified all of my heat? But then Shoto just keeps responding back to his brother's feelings, and that he's actually happy with the fact that Dabi wasn't just looking at his father, but he was also looking at him. And that through his training with his friends, and that he was able to figure out a new move that only he can do. He developed this technique to try and defeat his own older brother, as we go into a small flashback where we get to see that Shoto is talking to his father and saying that he's the one that has to take down his brother. He's the one that has to take down Dabi, as you have Endeavor saying, no, I have to be the one to do it. To which Shoto says that, no, you're one of the very few that can destroy and defeat All For One, as Shigaraki can only really be defeated by Deku, and that he's going to be the one to take down his brother, that this is his choice, but that they will still do it together, and how they will both take down his brother as well as the other villains, as we cut over back to the present, where we see that he begins to finish his speech by saying, yeah, our father was insane, our life was hell, but that does not justify your murder and walking down that path. So if you want to be angry, take your anger out on us and not other people, as he is about to use his own version of the Flash Fire Fist, as we end the chapter with the confirmation of what that power, what that ability is, which is phosphorus, as he hits his own brother. He hits Dabi with this full blast of fire, potentially ending Dabi, but definitely ending the chapter. So, what can we say about this chapter? It was action-packed and I loved it. There are so many panels where we just get to see the fire, which it's fire, it's very fluid, but in some instances it acted as if it was very liquidy, especially coming from Dabi. But this could just be the fact that his heat is so intense that it's actually melting the ground wherever he is, which would also be cool. But it's just a very, very enjoyable panels when it comes to the fire, how it looks. Even though this is more of like the raw scanlations, it'll probably look better in the more official translations. But even what we see right now, it's amazing. Hirokoshi's art is on point this entire chapter, but what also was on point were the characters of Dabi and Shoto, and how we are getting more confirmation that, yeah, Dabi is a broken individual. Dabi was created through the instances that were built upon by Endeavor, his neglect, his abuse. But we also get a second part of it, is that, yeah, all of these things shaped Dabi into what he is, but it was also Dabi's choice to linger on it, to absorb it, to take it upon himself and involve other people in it. Like, if he had an issue with Endeavor, there was no need to take it out on other people. That was his choice, showing that even though Dabi was created by Endeavor in a sense, it was also partially Toya's ambitions and what was done prior and him refusing to go against it that also led him down this path, showing that the reasoning that Toya is in this situation right now is not necessarily all because of Endeavor, but is also partially because of who he is. Because, as he said in this chapter, it was the words of Endeavor that really got him going, but he was going based off his own interpretations, based off his own feelings and what he wanted to do, which eventually led to murder. So we get to see that Shoto calls it out, but he also comes to a realization that, yeah, I was not the best, I was not great prior, but I grew, I developed, I learned, and through that growth and development is what's going to end up defeating you, in reference to Shoto defeating his own older brother Dabi, assumedly in this chapter. So yeah, this could be the end of the fight between Shoto and Toya. I think people were expecting that, oh man, this is such a bad fight because Endeavor's not here, but it doesn't really matter because this is going to be a fight between the Todorokis, whether it was going to involve Endeavor or involve Shoto, and as far as we know, it may not be the end, but from what it looks like, this could potentially be the end, and if it is the end, I think I would be fine with it. We got to see some cool action, we got to see some cool development within this fight with Shoto. We get to see Shoto being able to go all out with his fire, which is amazing because we rarely get to see Shoto using fire because, you know, the premise of what Shoto was is that he wanted to neglect his father. We wanted to be a hero only using his eyes, sort of still kind of being a puppet by Endeavor, by being a puppet to what Endeavor did instead of growing from it, very similar to how Toya is still a puppet of Endeavor because he refused to let go and not focus all of his ambitions on Endeavor. So it's very cool to see that. So if this is the end, it is the end, but I highly doubt that it's going to be the end, especially since we're going to be on a 3-week break. So there's a lot that can happen between now and that final break. We may cut to Shoto defeating his brother and then something else coming up involving Dabi. We still don't know Dabi's quirk, so at the very least, we cannot end the series without knowing his quirk. So if we didn't get it in this chapter, and if we don't get it next chapter, then yeah, this fight isn't over. But if it is, like I said, I would be fine with it. So yeah, let me ask you, if this was the end of the Toya versus Dabi, the Todoroki quarrel, would you enjoy it if it ended like this, or do you think that it would still be disappointing? Are you disappointed that we couldn't get Endeavor fighting his own son? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would really like to see the opinions of the community. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this, where I do reviews of My Hero Academia whenever they come out, primarily on Friday, as well as do comparisons between the official and unofficial translations on Sunday when they come out, as well as discussions if that is something that you're interested in. So, do all that cool jazz, and hopefully I'll be able to catch you in my next video. Goodbye!